Ladies and gentlemen, we can rejoice this morning on the 9 a.m. stream over on the channel. All of us were waiting anxiously to hear any sort of news coming out of Bills camp pertaining to Maxwell Hairston. Our first round cornerback is okay. He is okay, folks. We saw the worst. We saw all the speculation in the world. We saw from several sources on X insinuating or assuming that it very well could be the worst, that Maxwell Hairston could be out for the entirety of the 2025 season. But I guess not, folks. We were patient, and boy, oh boy, were we rewarded. I got to say, I do need to give a little bit of flack over to the Buffalo Bills organization because for some reason, man, they love driving us insane as fans. Many other organizations, when you end up getting an injury scare right on practice, typically it's lockstep. You hear about it in 20 to 30 minutes. This Buffalo Bills team, man, they spent well over 24 hours until we got the official word. Now, I'm not sure if Max went to a couple of different doctors. He got several opinions. Maybe they were just really trying to make sure that they got the right diagnosis. But thank God, per Jordan Schultz just a little bit ago, folks, his ACL is completely intact, and it is more so of an LCL sprain, and he is listed as in week to week. Now, one thing I will say, he could potentially be back by week one. He could potentially be back earlier, but I feel like his trajectory to making a significant impact on this roster has been paused or slightly slowed down. I don't think that this changes much. I think that we would have seen the exact same story from Maxwell Hairston going into the 2025 season regardless, especially based off of everything that we have heard from this young man out of practice. Sounds like Tre'Davious White has really taken the lead as far as the would-be CB2, but it's still good. It's nice to see that our first-round draft pick is not going to be put on ice and sidelined for all of the 2025 season, which would be imperative to him actually being that dude, him learning this system, him implementing it, him executing this system. As much as I'm sure that rookies learn quite a bit by sitting off to the sideline, which he would have in an alternate universe, it's all about executing this game. All about executing this game. So good news. I am happy that I am live right now so we could chop it up with everybody about this breaking and surprising news thus far, man. I am thrilled. I am sitting on cloud nine. We have CB2, or would be CB2, should be good here in just a couple of weeks. Folks, I need to remind each and every single one of you, once you're coming in, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up sign. This morning, we had well over 200 people in the live chat, and we have a goal on this channel. This goal is to make sure that we eclipse, okay, the largest live audience on all of YouTube. My accomplishments are your accomplishments, and how we get there, how we welcome in new friends into the live chat community each and every single day is very simple. All you got to do is just hit that thumbs up sign for me. There's 88 of you in here. I believe that there needs to be 88 thumbs up signs locked, stepped, and loaded, man. Welcome to another edition, man. I am feeling it. As many of you know, I am nosy. I want to hear where you were tuning in from. We had Japan tuning in this morning, folks. We had Sweden tuning in. Where is the most unique place watching this live stream right now? Bills Mafia, sound off, talk to me. Adam has already come in. He's already let us know. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, checking in. Go Bills, LFG. Adam is feeling some type of way. I certainly am. I'm feeling very damn good about this. Hi, Dan from Attica, New York. Go Bills and better days ahead for number 86. Lori is hands down the biggest Dalton Kincaid fan in here. We're all rooting for him. I can promise you that. Love you, Dan. I love you, Sham. I love you, my friend. Guys, do not be shy. Sound off in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let's talk a little business. Good afternoon, Dan. How you doing? Alec Anderson's wife's TikTok said he got knee surgery. Well, sounds like she doesn't know what she's talking about. Rochester, New York is in the building. New Hampshire is in the building. Penfield, New York, go Bills. Memphis 10 is in the building. Memphis, Tennessee, man. Talk to me. Brazil, Fernando. Okay, that's winning right now as far as the most unique place. Keep going. Wade, Mississippi is in the building. Thomas M. Hope all is well with you, my friend. Campbellfield, Ontario, Canada. Talk to me. Joe Riss tuning in from my own delusional reality. That's good. Dude, that's good. I'm sorry to hear about your Dolphins. It's been a rough day over there. You think Shaq Thompson will make this team? I believe that he will. I believe that he will, man. Mexico City, go Bills. We have Guadalajara, Mexico is in the building. Minnesota, talk to me. Lackawanna, Mars T, all love to see Max is okay. Chihuahua Max, go Bills. Portugal is in the building. Go Bills. Mayfield, Wisconsin. Here from Sioux City, Iowa, Mafia for life. Town of Tonawanda, Missoula, Montana, Chris Fowler. Guys, I got to tell you, man, I'm feeling real damn good about this news. I really, really am. But I still am going to remain with my take that Maxwell Hairston is more than likely not going to be playing much of a significant role in this defense until at the absolute earliest, week 8 after the bye, maybe even later. Why do I say this? Number one, it has to do with his performance so far in camp. Yes, I do remember one specific play that stood out while he was going up against, I think, a second-string wide receiver, perhaps, or maybe a third-string, one of the two. But based off of everything we have been hearing from down on the field, Max is certainly demonstrating rookie tendencies. And that's not a bad thing. It is indeed expected. You are going to see quite a bit of a learning curve when you go from a college system where maybe there's 4 or 5 players on your team that have the ability of transitioning over to the NFL. And that's only the ability of transitioning over to the NFL. I'd say each and every single college team at very most has 4 players that could be impactful starters in this league. So all college athletes have a unique battle once they get into the NFL because they are going up against all of the players that are capable of starting in the NFL. So it's a massive transition. Very oftentimes, it's hard to see a rookie hit the ground running immediately in camp. There's going to be some struggle because they are facing the best competition they have ever faced in their entire life. So it was expected. I was not expecting him to be locked down or be on Christian Benford's level. But I do think that him missing out on the next couple of weeks is going to sort of be a trend of what we can look for going into 2025. I always relate it to what Cole Bishop or his story was in 2024. He got hurt at the very beginning of camp. I think perhaps Cole Bishop had maybe 2 practices. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, obviously. But he missed all of training camp, and I want to say his injury lasted all the way into week 4. Was activated on week 5. We remember he got burned by Nico Collins over top. And then we didn't see him. So what McDermott typically does, and Cole Bishop is the perfect example, once a rookie goes down, he looks at that rookie and he says, okay, he has 7 practices of training camp. Meaning that all of the future camp practices and also all of the practices leading up into these preseason reps, Sean McDermott is looking at this like, okay, we are pausing this training camp schedule, and then Maxwell Harrison's training camp continues the second that he is activated on this roster. So we're what, 5-6 weeks away from opening kickoff for the Buffalo Bills? Yeah, I'd say about 5. Soon as when he is healthy, he is indeed going to be ramping up. And I can tell you this right now, Trey White is the CB2, at least week 1. In fact, I will go even further, and I will say that Tre'Davious White is starting CB2, I'd say all the way until week 6, at bare minimum. So this sucks because it does take off his opportunity of being a year 1 starter, like right on this team. But I wouldn't anticipate him to be making much of an impact on this defense year one. Best case scenario, absolute ceiling is going to be that he could step up and he really gets going week 10, week 11, and he can make a couple of key plays for us. Maybe later on into the regular season when we play Kansas City. Maybe that's a really good game where we can try and have him split reps with Tre'Davious White, perhaps. But for the most part, it's hard for me to see him being a regular starter or a regular contributor, at least for this year. And unfortunately, I think he lost his opportunity with this. It sucks, but the good thing is that he is still available. So if there is an injury, knock on wood, we don't want any injuries here, I feel like we'll be okay. I feel like we will be okay. So, folks, I am going to go on ahead and I am going to open up the Garage Beer Hotline. I want to talk to each and every single one of you and hear what you got to say about this Maxwell Hairston situation or anything else that is on your mind. Feel free to call in, guys. The StreamYard link is pinned at the top of the chat. Feel free to lock in, talk to me. What is on your mind? Let's talk a little bit of football. Man. Let's go. We have Khalil Shakir in the chat. Shout out to the homie, man. Best, most slept on slot receiver in the NFL. Fun fact, did y'all know that Khalil Shakir was third in the NFL in yards after the catch? I bet you didn't, but now you do. I can't wait for TD to come on the roundtable tonight and try to convince every Dolphins fan that they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Very unlikely. Right now, they have a bunch of Madden-generated players on their secondary. I could imagine that it's going to be a struggle for him to convince anybody of that. But here we are. Y'all keep counting the Bengals out, and y'all only focus is Kansas City. Mr. Solomon, what's going on? Thank you so much for tuning in to the show. So to be completely honest with you, man, and this is just speaking from an objective manner, many people think when you talk negatively of any team in the NFL that it is either you love them or you hate them. I promise you there is an in-between thought process here. We as Bills fans, we really don't have much beef with the Bengals fans. Did it suck that we lost to you guys right in the playoffs a couple of years ago? Absolutely. But those are two different teams. Looking objectively with Cincinnati, so I look at a team that had the 27th ranked defense in the NFL, was 27th in pass rush, although having an edge rusher that led the league in sacks. I look at a secondary that couldn't stop a nosebleed. So, yes, I personally am not as concerned about the Cincinnati Bengals because they have so much riding on three players. If one of those three big contracts go down, and I'm not wishing that, obviously, I want to make sure that this NFL year is the most competitive as humanly possible. But if T. Higgins goes down or Jamar Chase goes down, even for 3 to 4 games, or Joe Burrow misses a couple, y'all are screwed. Like, y'all are screwed. Just one piece goes down. I don't have any faith in your depth on the offensive side of the football. I think that Cincinnati has had the luxury of being able to have a wide receiver like Jamar Chase. He's a dog. He's the best wide receiver in the NFL. You heard it here first. But having a wide receiver on your team like Jamar Chase hides the fact that your offensive line is as bad as it truly is. Why I think Joe Burrow has survived the Cincinnati Bengals offensive line has largely been because you have a guy that can create almost instant separation. So, I mean, really, all I'm saying is that say that Cincinnati really wants to be competitive this year. I think that they really, really need to be able to score an average, and not regularly, I'm talking average, 35 points per game. Cincinnati literally needs to score 35 points per game because I'm having a hard time picking out a game on your schedule where I'm not going to predict that Cincinnati lets up at least 28. And I also think that you guys cannot go through your annual slow start, which happens each and every single year. So that's it. We have Greg is coming saying Cincy is going to have to score 40 plus a game to win. with their defense. It's defense, which is the biggest issue for me over in Cincinnati. It's the defense and it's the offensive line. And it's really having your eggs in a very small basket. Because say that one of those guys go down, one of them misses 3 to 4 games. That could be the difference between 11-6 and 7-10. That's how the game starts. They beat y'all with a new O-line in the divisional game. Plus, y'all have something with Higgins and Chase. So the thing is, my friend, is that divisional game was just when you actually had a semi-decent defense. You had an entire different team. That's why it's kind of hard for me to go on ahead and hop onto this notion where, like, you guys are like, oh, yeah, like, we beat you 3 years ago. That's an entire different team, man. An entire different team. So the Buffalo Bills right now, man, we have, like, right in my opinion, so the best offensive coordinator in the NFL. We were the most highest scoring offense in the NFL. Have an MVP at quarterback. So, look, say that I were you, I would just focus on the AFC North and say, for example, that you run into Buffalo right in the playoffs. We could have a conversation, but you're going to have to make the playoffs first, in which you haven't right in the past 2 years. So I will pick up this conversation again once you guys actually make the playoffs, because it's been a while. Hey, Dan, great news about Hairston. I agree, man. I absolutely agree. All right, we have Knock Hayden. How do you feel if we brought in Asante Samuel, if possible? I'm probably going to pass on that, man, because say, for example, he's still a pending free agent, then that means that his injury is serious. Or otherwise, a team would have hopped on by now. Like, he's still young. He's 24. He's 25. He had a lot of upside, but say that Asante Samuel Jr. is still on the board and he's still available. There's probably a reason behind it. So I am going to pass on that. Now that Max Hairston is healthy, he's going to make this team. It's just, I suppose it's a different conversation to have. Hey, Dan, I wanted to say hi and go Bills. I've been crazy busy writing and recording. Hopefully we'll be done by game day. Cat Stumbo, thank you so much. Regular caller, regular viewer on the show. No problem at all. We appreciate you tuning in and showing us a little bit of love. Guys, I do want to remind everybody, we have the Garage Beer Hotline live and active. If anybody would like to come in and let me know what is on their mind pertaining to Max Hairston or anything that's going on at camp, please feel free. Do not be shy. Feel free to hop in and let's talk a little football. Go Buffalo. Samuel, his neck hurts. Oh, no. Oh, no. Thoughts on the depth for corners? Who do you think makes the squad other than the 3 locks, of course? So there is going to be a camp battle between Dane Jackson and Dorian Strong. So while Dorian Strong has had some headlines and some good plays, limited opportunities against the ones, but he has gotten the most out of his opportunities where he has, or his number has been called. So it's going to be between him and Dane Jackson. I'm kind of feeling that Sean McDermott is going to favor Dane Jackson unless Dorian Strong exceedingly outperforms him in these next couple of weeks. That's where I'm at on it. So corners, I have Benford, obviously. You have Taron Johnson. You have Maxwell Hairston. You have Tre'Davious White. Dane Jackson. I do think Ingram makes this team as well because he has that familiarity. He does have the special teams contribution as well. It just depends how many corners we elect on going with. But it's interesting, man. Look, we will be having quite a few conversations about predicting that final 53-man roster. I can assure you that. Spidey Mudd is coming. Dan, this is really my first year keeping up with training camp. Are these injuries common during the offseason? This is a great question and something I've been trying to put Bills fans' minds at ease over. It sounds insane because you can't scroll through X and not see an update from Jordan Schultz or Adam Schefter every 3 seconds of some player leaving practice due to a strained calf, groin, or a hamstring. Soft tissue is very common. And I feel like we have such information overload each and every single training camp season that we often forget. But this is very normal. This is not a more so aggressive year when it comes into training camp injuries. It's tough getting back into football speed, folks. It really, really is. I don't care how serious these players take their off-season training programs. It's a hell of an adjustment from going into full contact once a week from September to sometimes January, sometimes February even, and then taking several months off where you're just doing regular conditioning and weightlifting. When you're not getting absolutely smacked and hit and running at full speed and making sure you're doing your cuts on a daily basis, it happens, right? Especially with how much they put their bodies on the line. It is rigorous exercise. That is exactly what it is. So don't be shocked. It happens each and every single year. For me, I'm not so much concerned about any injury with the exception of Tyler Bass. Bass is the sneaky one for me. That might have to pay some dividends, but we're just going to have to wait around for tomorrow. I will be live tomorrow morning doing my live play-by-play reaction of training camp. But say, for example, we get news that Buffalo is bringing in a kicker for competition purposes, or Tyler Bass is still not out there, then I think my prediction, unfortunately, may be coming true. But that is a different conversation. How many more years on Ty Johnson and Milano's contract? Ty Johnson was just extended for 2 years. So I want to say Ty Johnson is a 3-year extension. So we have him for another 3. And then Matt Milano is currently on his final year of his contract. It was originally 2 years left on his deal, but we ended up reworking it, shaving a year off, and almost giving him an opportunity to hit free agency next year. So that is indeed helpful. Hi, Dan. What are your thoughts on the incorrect post coming out earlier today about Max having an ACL injury? I love the guys over at Circling the Wagons. I really, really do. Solid dudes. And look, speaking from experience, sometimes, like when people have sources, sometimes the organization is so finely knit that sometimes they even keep people that have the particular security clearance right in the dark, right? Especially very valuable information. And they do that on purpose because they realize it. Right in this industry, there are people inside the Buffalo Bills sort of, so their organization, so that talk, right? So they do regularly speak to media. It's something that I'm sure these NFL organizations don't like. It was probably just super high security clearance, and they must have heard something with somebody right in the building that was just speaking out of their ass, and they were trying to make them look some type of way. But no, it's fine. I do think that some people sort of take it too seriously. And so I'm reading some of the comments and people are just like, oh my God, you're a piece of shit. Go on ahead and cancel your account. That's a bit of an overreaction for me. Solid dudes. I have nothing bad to say about them. I feel like all of us can just celebrate that, celebrate that they were wrong. Thoughts on the, oh wow, I said thoughts, not thoughts. Thoughts on the D-line rotation, especially defensive ends who are looking like locks for the first, second down versus third. So the rotation is going to be pretty slim, especially for the first 6 weeks of the season. So I think we can lock down. So we have Daquan Jones. We have Ed Oliver right in the interior. I think Joey Bosa is likely going to get the nod. Let's knock on wood and hope that he stays healthy. And then next up would be Greg Rousseau. Once we ultimately end up getting Ogunjobi and Hoyt back, that's when I start to see Hoyt and Joey Bosa rotating quite a bit, right? And then Rousseau, then with Daquan Jones and Ogunjobi will likely be rotating often. I'm not sure if Buffalo believes that Deon Walker can step in week 1 and be a quality rotational piece for Daquan Jones. So do not be surprised if Daquan is out there for a significant amount of the snap share, maybe 85% or 90%. You say that Buffalo does actually end up grabbing a massive lead, by 2 to 3 touchdowns, or maybe even 1 to 2. Maybe that's when they start lightening it up. But say, for example, that Buffalo finds themselves in very close games. especially within the first 6 weeks. Watch for Daquan Jones to ultimately be out there for, I'd say, close to 100% of the snaps. That's it. Love Deion Walker. I just think that he needs a full year of development. It's going to take some time for him to make the transition over to the NFL. As far as TJ Sanders, I do see that being a bit more of a rotation with Ed Oliver. It just depends on how he performs in camp. It's a little too soon for me to make a prediction, but I still think it's predominantly going to be Ed Oliver, and then maybe TJ Sanders is mixed in occasionally for about 30% of them. And then on super specific occasions, on third down specifically, where we want to run with 2-3 techs or 2 pass rushing sort of defensive tackles, then maybe they would do that. So that's my take. So as far as the defensive line rotation, I think that it's pretty safe to say that it's going to be pretty slim all the way up until Ogunjobi and Hoyt get back. Yes, why did someone post a fake ACL tear earlier? I was bummed until I read different at 2:30 p.m. EST. So we don't know the full story, right? So they have broken things before and they have been correct. Sometimes sources are, wrong, I guess. Like maybe the Bills organization just wanted to keep that guy completely in the dark because they know that he's the key suspect that leaks information. I don't know. So I have no ill will towards somebody. I definitely don't recommend that y'all berate them on the internet. I don't think that that's right. But Mike is saying, thank you for your thoughts. I agree. Yeah, for sure, man. You know what I mean? It's funny. You know what I mean? I'm definitely self-aware before. So there have been times where I've gotten something from somebody. I didn't post it because I was kind of trying to test the notoriety of said source right before I did. And it turned out to be wrong. So it's careful. It's tough stuff, man. You don't know what these organizations, what type of security clearance each and every single person within the building has. Sometimes, so they do that on purpose because leaks are so common. So I don't know. And so I don't think that they were lying at all. I don't. Come on, everyone. Support Dan by smashing the like button. Cindy, you are the best. Folks, listen, in case you're new here, so my name is Dan Mitchell. I go live twice a day on this channel, all right, where I unpack everything that's happening around the Buffalo Bills organization. Same thing with the NFL. Say that that's your cup of tea, guys. I'm really trying to make sure that we grow the largest and most engaging live chat on the internet, especially within Bills fans. How we do that is just if everybody hits that thumbs up sign. There's over 300 of you rocking with me right now. Just hit that thumbs up sign for me and let's celebrate, because you know what? We avoided a disaster. It's only an LCL sprain. It may sort of prevent him from developing as fast as we would have hoped, but it's a hell of a lot better than having to worry about a torn ACL. You know what I mean? It will be interesting if we see any of the behind the scenes of this situation in Hard Knocks. I am fully anticipating we will. I cannot wait for that to release. I cannot wait for that. It's Tuesday, August 5th. And damn, man, it's good. Look, I know a lot of people were concerned at first once we heard that the Bills were going to be on Hard Knocks, because many may have thought that it would be a distraction. For me, I don't know why. Maybe it's selfish. I want to know what this culture is like. I want to know what Sean McDermott is like. And as many of you know, I want to hear Matt Milano's voice, because I am convinced I've never heard his voice. He's the mystery man of the locker room. I would like to try and understand who he is as a person. Hard Knocks crew, if you are watching this, let us know who Matt Milano is. All right. He is a complete mystery man, and we need to find out. Frank is saying, hey, Dan, what's going on with defensive end Landon Jackson? So we only have had pads on for 2 days. Yesterday, obviously, was dominated by Max Hairston being injured. So didn't really get a lot of updates from what he was doing specifically, but he hasn't stolen the show quite yet. As far as defensive linemen that have made a name for themselves, it sounds like Gregory Rousseau has been all over the place, which is encouraging, especially since we just paid the guy. I did hear some good things about Ed Oliver from Daquan Jones as well, but nothing from the Rooks specifically. Maybe a couple of things about TJ Sanders, maybe a few things about Landon Jackson at the beginning, but
So there were no pads on, so it's kind of hard to draw a conclusion. I'm high on Landon Jackson. I am. I'm just trying to curb my expectations of when he's going to be that guy for us. I do think he's going to have a bit of a development, like ramp up period. I don't think that he's going to be an absolute world breaker this year, but say that he can make a couple of key plays for us when we need him, when his number is called on rotation, then I'm a happy guy. We need to remember that he was a third-round pick too. He does have a pretty extensive injury history. He's had three ACL tears. He had 2 in high school. He had 1 in college. So it's something to be cautiously optimistic about. Dan, sorry to change the subject, but fantasy draft tomorrow, Jahmyr Gibbs or Saquon? All right. Give me Gibbs because I feel that he is about to have the best season as a running back this year. He is going to be this year's Saquon. And I don't want this to be taken out of context because I am not wishing this on Saquon Barkley. I am not. But for a guy that was so injury prone at the beginning of his career, I have to see it to believe it that he goes 2 seasons in a row without a single period of him missing some time. And again, I don't want anyone taking this out of context, but I'm going to have to see it to believe it if Saquon can actually put together 2 seasons in a row where he does not find himself missing a couple of games. So I think Gibbs is a better option for me. That's when I'm going to go with it. And by the way, you're having your fantasy draft tomorrow. Dude, you are ballsy for having a fantasy draft right now. Look, Bills Mafia, if it is not too late, what I would do is I would call your boy and I would do whatever you can to convince him to move the draft to a couple of days before week 1. I genuinely suggest that because I cannot tell you how many players that were drafted in early rounds all across your league are not going to be available because of injuries that could still occur during training camp and then also in preseason games. I would do whatever you can to move that. So just call your boy and say, listen, we're playing with fire. Don't, man. Listen, move it to a couple of days right before week 1. Like maybe that's Sunday right before Thursday Night Football. It's probably your best bet. It's probably your best bet. And plus, what is encouraging is that I have actually ended up releasing a new partner. It is a fantasy football tool that I have fallen in love with. I can't wait to show you guys what it looks like. But stick around and do whatever you can to reschedule this. Hey, Dan, just tuning in. What is the update with Hairston? Dominic, I am so happy that you were in the dark on this one because I get to be the one to break the news to you and make your day, my friend. His ACL is completely intact. It is only an LCL sprain. He is considered week to week. Many are hopeful that he will be better or active by week 1, perhaps even sooner. So again, not ideal because he is missing those very quality reps in training camp, but he's not out for the season. So that's good. We had another super chat I missed. Oh no, it was Cat Stumbo. Cat Stumbo with the 10. And then my boy Dominic came in with that 5. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate that. That is going above and beyond in supporting the channel, folks. But as many of you know, the easiest way to support me is just quite simply hitting that thumbs up sign. This is a celebration stream today. A celebration stream, man. My main $250 draft is the 30th. Exactly. I recommend everybody follows suit there. It's definitely not worth it. It's definitely not worth it to have that draft that early, or otherwise you might be screwed with some injuries. But hey, you know what? It's all up to you. What's up, Dan? What's the grade on the LCL? I haven't heard anything about that, but I just heard that it's a sprain. I'm waiting on some more specifics, but as far as what we got is that he's listed week to week And so I don't have much of a medical background, so I can't speak on that any further. But just know it sounds like he should be good to go. So within a month, man, let's lock that in. Dan, you should go to church now, brother. I'm being real. God bless and go to Buffalo. I go to church every single Sunday, my friend, but I agree with you. I agree with you, man. You got to do it. You got to do it. Dan, I'm going to be in 2 leagues this year. One is an 8-person, one is a 10-person. Talk about an absolute point fest. An 8 to 10-person league is always insane because I feel like with everyone's always scoring close to 200 points each and every single game. It's fun. It's funny, but here we go. Go Gamecocks. John Edward Kruger, man, deep into fall camp for college football players, man. It's exciting. College ball is around the way, too. They report back tomorrow. First practice is Friday. The Gamecocks are coming on back. Dude, I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for some good SEC football this year. As many of you guys know, we have been launching quite a bit of new shows on the Roundtable Sports Network. I am obviously hosting the AFC East Roundtable, which I am redirecting you to once this stream is over. Another episode of the AFC East Roundtable. I'm also going to be on the Bills Roundtable as well, folks. The Bills Roundtable, which is a brand new channel. We have not had the opportunity of launching it quite yet, but the first episode at the Bills Roundtable is going to be next Monday at 5 p.m. EST. 5 p.m. EST. And the hosts are going to be myself, Z-Bot, Kevin Masari, and also Jake, also known as Bill's Bunker. We are so excited to start this. So our boy Smitty in here doing a bunch of TikTok shorts for us, but we are going to be launching a Bills Roundtable channel. If, for example, you guys don't want to miss that, I will be streaming prior to it each and every single week. Just do me a favor. Just go over there. Just go subscribe to it. It's going to be a hell of a time, man. It is a collaborative channel with some other Bills creators on the internet. I really think you guys are going to enjoy it. I really, really do. So shout out to Roundtable Sports. That, and I'm also hosting a damn college football show. A college football show I'm going to be hosting this year too. So it's going to be a busy time of the year, folks. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way because I love football. I love what I do for a living, and I love my audience that comes in and talks ball with me on a regular basis. The Dolphins are on UFL cornerbacks really bad. I saw that Kader Kohu, he's out for the season. I saw that Artie Smith was out with the season as well with an ACL. Lost Jalen Ramsey, of course. And then they ended up cutting that one guy they brought in not too long ago either. So, yeah, dude, listen, they are in some rough waters over there. That is for sure. Dan, and do you think Bean will take care of Cook before the season? It's tough to say, Kebby. It is very, very tough to say. I was fortunate enough to actually welcome Cook's agent onto the show a couple of days ago. Solid guy. Shout out Zach Hiller. He did not provide any details of where it was going. And that's fine. I totally understand that. Like, he needs to represent his client. I'm not going to ask him to do that. But say that Brandon Beane does do it. I don't necessarily think it's going to be for the player, but it's more so going to be, I am going to help my cap out a little bit, and I'm also going to remain with some sort of consistency. Like, we want to make sure that he's our guy for at least the next 2 to 3 years. Because when you think about it, right, he's 25, might be 26 coming up. He likely has another 2-3 years of his prime. And so I think this year is going to be his best year yet. So say that it was up to me. Yeah, I'd pay him. For sure. Like, some people are very much against his $15 million a year. But that's average annual value. And y'all know. And so y'all know how I feel about that metric. It's very misleading. And even if it was $15 million per year, what is that truly in the grand scheme of things? It's peanuts. It's peanuts, folks. especially when you compare what DB, wide receiver, quarterback, same thing with edge rushers get, like right on a daily basis. Like you see this NFL cap growing $30 million each and every single year too. Like in the grand scheme of things, $15 million a year is peanuts. So I feel like that's kind of been something I've been scratching my head over a little bit. I've been kind of like, like why are people so mad about it? It's not really a lot of money, right? And that way, like we get ahead of the curve too. Because like any contract, like that next player of that position is going to ask for more. So we could look back on a $15 million a year type deal in 2 years. And we'll probably look at the deal and say, oh my God, we got away with a steal, man. Holy hell. What are we doing? So I don't know. And so I feel like I'm one of the few where I would not be upset. I would not be upset whatsoever. Guys, by the way, and so I am actually redirecting you right over to the AFC East Roundtable stream. And I'll tell you what, I'm actually curious to see if anybody in here is unfamiliar with what we do over at the AFC East Roundtable. Well, I got to tell you what, a couple of years ago, me, a Dolphins fan, a Jets fan, and a Patriots fan got together and we said, hey, you know what? What would be a hysterical idea would be if we all got together and we ripped each other's throats out, just metaphorically, of course, about the AFC East and really get that rivalry turning. Well, we did that, and then we ultimately ended up launching this show. It's called the AFC East Roundtable. And we meet weekly on Wednesday, and this is the first show that Roundtable Sports ever came up with. It birthed Roundtable Sports, as a matter of fact. And we get together on Wednesday nights at 6 p.m. EST on Wednesday evenings and just yell at each other about the AFC East. It is a great show. It's very entertaining. And I will pat myself on the back because Bills fans, or pat y'all on the back because Bills fans have been dominating this show for a very long time. They have been dominating the live chat audience. Every single time we have a poll, Bills fans dominate. So I would like to continue holding that title. So say, for example, that you guys are still hungry for some football content and maybe want to get an inside look at what the enemies are doing within the division. I hate to play spoiler, but we all know Buffalo is running away with this division. I'd say arguably by about a 4 to 5 game lead once it's all said and done. However, I recommend you come on over and you show a little bit of love, man. This AFC East Roundtable, something that we have been building for quite some time. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, certainly go on ahead and show a little bit of love here. 15 million is a lot on the cap, especially when majority have complained about the Curtis Samuel contract. Well, I mean, really within the grand scheme of things, 15 million on the cap. And that wouldn't even be the full cap hit, right? His full cap hit right now is $5 million. Say that we were to give him the quote unquote 15. And so again, right? Don't look at average annual value and say, oh my God, he's totally getting $45 million in total. That's not it at all. Just look at total guaranteed money, right? So say, for example, that like somebody were to get a 3-year, $36 million contract. That's right on paper, $12 million per year, right? But then you look at the fine print of the contract and it says he's fully guaranteed 30. That becomes $10 million, is 100% dedicated to the cap. Like when you say when you see a potential out on a contract, that's not just there for speculation. That means that whatever team signed that contract has the ability to get out of the contract and not pay them that X amount that was not included in the fully guaranteed portion. So like when you see $15 million a year, it's not going to be $15 million a year. It's probably going to be closer to about 11 or 12 when it comes into fully guarantees. And say that he does ultimately end up earning that contract that makes it up to 15, then I don't think a lot of us are going to be upset. See, I feel like a lot of us forget of how pedestrian so our run game was once LaShawn McCoy left. Like from there, it was tough. How did Christian Wilkins make it longer in the league than Michael Sam? I mean, dude, you are asking the right questions. Dan, I will be watching the AFC East Roundtable this evening. Linda, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. 17-0, Dan. 8 more than any other AFC East team. I love the energy, Scott. I love the energy, man. Preach it into existence. Go Bills. Will the Bills Roundtable be live every Monday? Or have you not gone that far? No, we have it scheduled, man. The Bills Roundtable is going to be live every single Monday and Thursday at 5 p.m. EST. 5 p.m. EST, Mondays and Thursdays. Have no fear, because I am going to be streaming prior to it. So I will very easily be able to have you guys shifted over there and no questions asked. So no issue here. Roundtable is going to be great tonight. It certainly is, especially since I know we're welcoming so many new Bills fans into this lively debate show, man. Trust me, you guys are going to fall in love with the concept. We're super excited to unpack all things AFC East over here. Hey, One Brick, what's up, man? How you doing? Scott Blakely, give Cook incentives for Pro Bowl and All-Pro, etc. Damn, just signed Cook. Dan, you are 100 on that take. It's peanuts, y'all. It's peanuts, man. Like, that's really all it is. It's peanuts, really, in the grand scheme of things. Just subscribed to the Bills Roundtable. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, I'm going to make sure that you guys come in and tune in and show a little bit of love to that show. Let's go, Buffalo. I am excited about the defensive line, offensive line, wide receivers, and cornerbacks this year. And our safety group will be solid. Frank's an optimistic fan, and I appreciate that. Frank's an optimistic fan, and not my mic cover. It's a problem. Definitely going to see a lot less Dolphins fans tonight. Yeah, for sure, man. I feel like that they haven't really returned since we ended up stealing the division from them a couple of years ago. I have not seen a heavy Dolphin turnout right on the AFC East Roundtable since we ripped their hearts out when they thought that they were going to win the division. And then they followed up by losing to Will Levis and then choking like they typically do. If at all McDermott does not give Cook a contract, what do you think they would do? Go after one in free agency or the draft? I'd probably say the draft, man. So because running backs are one of the few positions that don't really have much of a ramp-up period. And that's largely from rounds 1, like really all the way until rounds 5, sometimes even further than that. So y'all will often hear me say, so about defensive linemen or wide receivers, where I'll say, hey, listen, there is going to be a learning curve. And so they are rookies, and it's going to take some time for them to really adjust into the NFL. Running backs are one of the very few exceptions. Like, you can get a day one significant contribution from a rookie running back almost always, as long as you have the right offensive line in place. So I would probably assume we'd end up revisiting right in the draft. I don't think that we would go for a running back round 1 next year. I think largely where we're going to be pointing a lot of our focus in next year's NFL draft is going to be so the interior offensive line. I think linebacker is going to be a need. Yeah. Linebacker and an interior offensive lineman are more than likely going to be the top choices here. We have Jeffrey Williams. Dan, what's up with the safety we signed from Washington? I haven't heard a single word about him. So, Jeff, I think the only thing I heard from him is that he got in a scuffle with a rookie. So I think all I have heard, at least headline worthy, is he got in some sort of fight with an offensive lineman. I think that was about it. I suppose no news is good news, but for somebody that's trying to make this team, I was kind of hoping that he would make a play here and there. But then again, right? Like, that is what the preseason is for. Many people were high on him Like many people like the ceiling from Derek Forrest. I got to tell you what, Jeff, I did end up looking at his one season where he had 4 interceptions. And I got to tell you, 3 of the 4 picks were batted up into the air and fell right into his lap. So maybe he's not as much of a ball hawk as we thought. I don't know. It's still early, but we haven't heard anything from him. so I will keep you up to date, though, because I was certainly rooting for him. If the Bills don't sign Cook, Josh goes back to playing hero ball, which is not good. Thanks for the link at Mike Green. Subscribed to the Bills Roundtable. Mike Green is my guy who's always in here showing some love. He is policing the live chat, man. Shout out to my mods for working as hard as they do. Let's do it. I'd like to hear what Josh would think about giving Cook an extension. I think he would agree with paying the man. Somebody actually brought a really good take up. I think you have to give credit to James Cook for Josh Allen not having to play hero ball last year. I think you do, right? Kind of feel like you need to. Like, what else is the common denominator here? How confident are we that we would be able to be as equally efficient with, and make no mistake. So I have a lot of respect for our wide receivers. What they do works. It does. But real talk, folks. So do we think that we would have been the number 1 offense in the NFL and scored points last year while our quarterback had a broken hand with that receiving core last year? I feel like it's something to put into perspective, right? Like, what would you say is the big thing? Like, sure, I understand that Joe Brady is a great play caller, but play calling only gets you so far. You need the horses to run and to execute. And there's no way to know. Yeah. And there's no way to know. Said Brady could be the common denominator as well. He could be, right? Hey, Dan, this is a long shot, but how do you feel about Frank Gore Jr. making the roster or practice squad? Why do I feel like that there was some news yesterday that he was released? Why do I feel like that was the case? So do we see that Frank Gore Jr. was released, folks, or am I crazy? Did I, yeah, we have no control group. It's nothing but speculation at this point. But for me, so without the run game, I'm not so sure that our wide receivers last year would have been as effective, right? Let's move up in next year's draft and get Anthony Hill Jr. to replace Milano. Might be the best linebacker we see in the next decade as a prospect. He is absolutely insane. He is going to be a top 5 pick. He's going to be a top 5 pick. There are some really good linebackers in the NFL. Excuse me. In college football this year, man. I'm not going to lie to you. One in particular, I would be okay with. And for all I know, he could skyrocket up draft boards. It's way too early, and this college football season hasn't even started. But one in particular comes from my favorite college football team, the Georgia Bulldogs, as well. CJ Allen, he could potentially be a dude, a very good one. But linebacker, indeed, is going to be intrigued. And folks, listen, if you are hankering for some college football content, let me tell you what. And so I will be locking in a show on Roundtable Sports. That show is going to be, let me see, 6 p.m. EST, Mondays and Thursdays. Wow, I have 2 shows back-to-back on Mondays and Thursdays. Fridays, I'm blocking off my calendar, dude. I'm just going to relax and live my damn life once it's all said and done. But all right, guys, listen, I am hopping over to the AFC East Roundtable. This stream is redirecting you over there as we speak. So make sure you tune in and you spam Go Bills in the chat. Spam Go Bills in the chat and let them know what fan base dominates that show. We will see you soon. Peace.